He had the looks, the fame, and the devotion of millions. Yet, the one thing Cliff Richard never found was a wife. For decades, fans have wondered why the man whose voice embodied love and hope never shared his life fully with another. Now, at 85, he has opened up about the pressures of fame, the promises he made to God, and the quiet truths he has carried for more than half a century. Behind the songs, the charm, and the faith was a man torn between the stage and the life he never lived. From Harry Webb to pop icon. In the late 1950s, Britain was emerging from the shadow of war, searching for color after years of gray. Out of this environment came a teenager named Harry Webb, who would become Cliff Richard. At barely 18, he was thrust into a world that demanded instant idolization. From shy Hertfordshire boy to national icon, fame arrived like a storm. Fans screamed, radio played his songs relentlessly, and reporters followed him everywhere. Within a year, he wasn't just a singer. He had become the face of British pop culture, representing hope, youth, and a new rebellion against the old order. The weight of fame did not come gently. Behind the spotlight, he still lived at home, asking permission for simple things. On stage, he radiated confidence. Inside, he felt overwhelmed. Producers demanded a careful image, clean yet daring, charming yet safe. Cliff learned early that control meant survival. Every word, every interview, every gesture was measured. It wasn't shyness, it was protection. Fame had arrived too soon, and he understood that every piece of himself he gave away would never return. Exhaustion, scrutiny, and constant work shaped him into a man older than his years, disciplined to navigate a world most teenagers could not imagine. Discipline as a lifeline. Cliff vowed never to lose control or allow emotion to dictate his path. This discipline became a foundation rooted in fear and faith. Talent was a gift, he believed, requiring stewardship rather than indulgence. While others chased freedom and fame, Cliff found order. The applause intoxicated, yet reminded him of what he lacked: stillness, connection, and normality. He built walls not out of arrogance, but out of self-preservation. The boy who dreamed of love now used songs to keep it at a distance. Success gave him everything visible to the world, but it denied the space to belong fully to another person. Early love and heartbreak. Cliff's first serious relationship was with Delia Wicks, a dancer who adored him long before stardom. For a brief time, they imagined a life together: home, family, intimacy beyond the stage. But the machine of fame moved too fast. Tours, filming, and press left no room for ordinary life. Years later, Delia wrote to say she would always love him, but could not wait for someone whose heart was consumed by work. Cliff kept the letter as a quiet reminder of what discipline demanded and what it denied. Love, it seemed, had a price he could not yet pay. The cost of distance opportunities for affection appeared and disappeared. He was charming, attentive, and thoughtful, yet always reserved. Close friends observed that he had a way of making women feel seen without ever fully inviting them in. It wasn't pride, it was fear, not of rejection, but of distraction from what he believed was his purpose. By his late 20s, his public faith began to shape his private life. Marriage wasn't simply companionship, it was a responsibility he could not divide. Love, he realized, could not exist half-measured while his career demanded total commitment. A lifelong friendship. In the 1970s, Cliff formed a friendship that would endure decades, a bond so deep it blurred the line between affection and devotion. She understood the world he lived in without needing it explained. Their connection began professionally, but grew into something rare: mutual respect, privacy, and shared faith. On stage, their chemistry sparked rumors of romance. but Cliff drew a firm line between closeness and commitment. Their bond showed him that love could exist without ownership, and affection could endure without expectation. It was a love measured not by convention, but by depth, and it became his emotional anchor through decades of fame. Faith and purpose. Faith shaped Cliff's life profoundly. In 1966, he was baptized, dedicating himself fully to Christianity. For him, faith was not a performance, but a lifelong discipline that guided every choice. It brought clarity, but also demanded sacrifice. Marriage, he believed, should never be entered lightly, especially when the realities of touring and public life could never give a spouse the stability or presence they deserved. Instead, he devoted himself to music, service, and living according to his beliefs. Love, intimacy, and companionship were not rejected. They were choices he could not make without compromising his calling. Living with restraint. Cliff's chosen restraint often drew criticism and misunderstanding. Some labeled it avoidance, others saw isolation. Yet he viewed it as obedience to his values. Touring, media scrutiny, and constant performance made half-presence unfair to anyone he might have loved. He once said, "It just never felt right. Maybe it was never meant for me." His singleness was neither loss nor failure. It was freedom to live without conflict between heart and calling. Though moments of loneliness arose, he returned always to prayer, music, and reflection, finding solace in a life aligned with his deepest convictions. The stage as ministry. Over time, the stage became more than performance. It became ministry. By the 1980s, Cliff was one of the few public figures to live with unwavering conviction. Moral boundaries guided him not for show, but for survival. Fame, riches, and temptation were ever present, yet he never compromised. His music, conduct, and public life were all part of a larger commitment to faith and service. The world continued to speculate about his private life, yet he remained untethered by rumor. His story was not about what he lacked, but about what he chose, a disciplined, faith-driven life shaped by conscience and love without possession. A life of choices. Cliff. Richard's life is defined not by absence, but by choice. The discipline that preserved him from the pitfalls of fame also shaped his approach to love. Marriage and conventional companionship never fit his path, but deep friendships and spiritual commitment offered fulfillment. He chose connection without compromise, devotion without expectation, and faith over fleeting desire. Loneliness existed, yes, but so did peace. His life demonstrates that love is not always about union, and commitment is not always measured by romantic possession. In choosing his principles over societal expectation, he achieved a life of integrity and quiet strength. Enduring legacy. Cliff Richard's story is one of devotion, restraint, and resilience. Fame brought adoration, wealth, and opportunity, yet he consistently prioritized faith, discipline, and purpose over fleeting satisfaction. While the world speculated on what he lacked, he embraced what he gained: control, clarity, and the ability to live authentically. His life teaches that true fulfillment comes not from external validation, but from alignment with one's values. And though the world wondered about love, Cliff found it in music, friendship, and faith, a love that endured quietly, powerfully, and without compromise, leaving a legacy defined not by absence, but by choice.